Hello, Oiler Nation. My name is Deven Stover. I'm here with head men's wrestling coach Shawn Nelson. How are you doing today?
Good. Yourself?
Good. I'm doing well. Glad to be here on this cold day.
Definitely cold today.
Yeah. So we got the GMAC championships coming up. So what are the advantages of competing on home turf, and how do you prepare the team to handle the pressure of hosting?
For us, it's not as bad as the pressure because, we have a big tournament in November, and the guys kind of get used to it that way. So from that kind of standpoint, it's not like a pressure standpoint, but and going into hosting it, since we do a lot of tournaments, it's actually kind of easy now. It's just more of the fact of getting the guys ready. But this time of the year is always rough for everybody with injuries, and I've talked to a ton of coaches, and they're I don't know if anybody has their full lineup coming. So it's just kind of whoever's going to be the healthiest this weekend.
No, that makes sense. Definitely got to stay healthy. So with this event coming up, what messages are you emphasizing to the team this week?
Well, for us, everybody that's we qualify through a regional tournament. So this could be for seeding purposes. Even though we'll duel like Ashland, Lake Erie, Tiffin later in the year, again, if you're banged up, and this might be my one chance to beat you, and then come regionals, I have the head-to-head win, so I could get seeded. So the guys that are healthy, it's very important for them to go out there and do their job.
Yeah, absolutely. So speaking of the team, what's been the defining characteristic of this year's squad, and how has that shaped their approach to competition?
Well, I think, we started with, we're kind of a mix between old and new. I would say most of the guys that are starters this year are underclassmen, juniors or so. For us, it was just to get back on track. During those COVID years, I think we kind of slipped a little bit where I'd like us to be. We brought in 12 guys last year, and I think half of our red shirts would start right now if I pulled them. But for us, so it's just kind of keep getting better. Because next year we host the regional tournament to qualify for nationals. So kind of trying to load up that way. As a coach, you want to win all the time, but you got to pick and choose sometimes.
No, absolutely, that makes sense. So speaking of this dynamic with your team, older and younger, what strengths do you think set your team apart from others in the conference?
Well, I think the good group that we brought in, and I think with the older group, they were kind of at a little plateau for a little bit, and this younger group is hungry. They're coming in the room with a purpose, hey, I'm kicking your, what? Yeah. So it's making the older guys step up, and I like guys that come in. I don't call it cocky if you can back it up.
Yeah, not at all. I love that. I need to come out there. So speaking of that, though, wrestling requires incredible mental toughness. So how do you help your athletes balance the physical and psychological demands of the sport?
Well, I think that starts in practice. You got to push these guys past where they think they can be pushed. And of course, you know how it is. You've been a sports person. You're going to get the gripes. You're going to get the looks. You're going to get the, and I pay attention to all that. I always say my ears look funny, but they hear really well. And so, I just try to get on the guys. And, I make it very clear. I'm not getting on you because I don't like you. I'm getting on you because I'm trying to make you better. So that's kind of how we approach things. Every day I try to challenge them in a different kind of view or aspect, and just kind of push them.
Yeah, would you say throughout your coaching experience, have you ever had to change or cater your coaching style to the specific set of players that you had that year?
Absolutely, absolutely. I always say, one of my big sayings that I always say is there's two types of athletes, and I think you'll agree. There's ones that you coach, and those are the ones you just got to pull aside and say, Devin, hey, come here, can you just tweak this a little bit? Your shot, whatever. And then there's the other ones that you really got to coach, and those are the ones that you got to go back, step back. Hey, let's break everything back down from simple. So. There's ones you manage and ones you coach. Yeah,
absolutely. So, I've experienced that. I've been on both sides, actually. And it's through playing sports that you just start to adapt and see the coaches and appreciate them getting on you like that.
Right.
So as a coach, how do you balance focusing on individual improvement, because we kind of touched on that, with the overall success on the team?
See, that's the difference with our sport, being an individual sport, more like, a swimming and golf and things like that. I always try to tell the kids, hey, listen, when you get out there, you take care of your match, and then the rest of it will take care of it later. But if you can't do that, then we're probably going to have issues. And just because the guy in front of you loses you can't carry that into your match.
Yeah.
You got to put that to the side and say, all right, you lost. I'm going to go out there and kick somebody's, because I'm going to bring us back, the team back.
Do you see a lot of, during the matches, mental battles that players go through due to what you just said coming into a match, or before, I know you have to cut weight, eat certain food? I've always wondered, how does that work within the sport?
Yeah, but you get used to that. I mean, if you're training your body right, I mean, your mind and your body is so powerful. I mean, you'd be surprised, when you have to cut, 15 pounds in a week and still perform at a high level. It's just training your body, and then your body is amazing like that. But yeah, I mean, I see it a lot. Things go wrong in a match or a game or something, and kids start getting down on themselves, and we're a short time. I mean, it's a high intensity 7 minutes.
Absolutely.
Super, but it's hard for our kids, and I always say, good players, wrestlers, they can make the adjustments from week to week.
Okay.
They can.
Yeah.
Great ones can make it in 7 minutes. Damn. Because you have to. You got to completely forget about that. Hey, Deven just took me down. All right, I'm down 3-0. What do I got? Don't think I'm losing. I got to think of, hey, how can I come back from this? And it's always 1 point at a time.
Absolutely. So hosting an event like this, it isn't just about wrestling, and it's also about leadership. So what lessons do you hope the athletes take away from this experience?
Well, considering, we might not host another one because, it tries to rotate, and everybody can kind of. So you want the guys to, get the best experience, do the best they can. I mean, yes, would I like to win a conference, but like with other sports, we don't qualify through our conference. So our mentality's been a little bit different throughout the years as far as what comes to a conference or how you qualify. I mean, because ultimate, let's face it, if I say, what's your favorite, you want to be a national champ.
Oh, absolutely.
You can care less about, right? I mean, that's what you want to do. So, and it's kind of the same mentality. Yes, we would like one along the way. Hey, bonus. But if it doesn't happen and I get a national championship, not going to complain either.
Yeah, I wouldn't complain at all. We love those.
Right.
Yeah. And then last question for you, Coach. If you had to describe this team in one word heading into the championship, what would it be and why?
One word. This year's team. Man, there's a lot of ebb and flows with this team this year because of some younger, some older, some not as experienced. But I'd probably say that this team's like kind of like the ocean. It goes in and it goes out, and some days we're floating and we look real good, and then other days and this is the toughest part of our schedule. Everybody we wrestle from here on out is a top 20 team.
Okay.
Like first half, try to build them up. Second half, try to get them who they're going to be. And so we're learning too, we're just like, okay, that one went good. Oh, that one didn't go so good. So it's kind of like we're just kind of like a swing right now.
No, that makes sense. Well, Coach, man, I was just in Costa Rica, and let me tell you, I was in the ocean. Those waves got power. So
yeah, they do.
Your team carries that into the championship. I think you guys will be all right.
That's if it's coming in.
Yeah.
As long as it's not going out.
Yeah. Well, thank you, Coach, for participating and joining us today.
I appreciate it.
This has been Deven Stover and head coach Shawn Nelson here on Koehler Outlook.